Hi, my name is Wotring, and this is a rehearsal for my persuasive speech. If you had the ability to save someone's life without sacrificing anything, would you do it? Almost everyone has the power to give the gift of life by becoming an organ donor. Records from Donate Life indicate that over 113,000 men, women, and children nationally are waiting for a life-saving transplant at any given time. And yet just over half of Ohioans have registered to become a donor at the time of their death. This means that an average of 18 people nationally dies every day waiting for a life-saving transplant, and thousands more are in need of tissue donations to improve their quality of life. Imagine that for 6 years you have been going to dialysis 3 times a week, where a machine acts as your kidneys should and filters the waste from your body. The only thing that can better your life at this point is a donation. You won't survive long without one because dialysis isn't a lifetime solution. Think of how frustrating it must be to live your life waiting for an organ transplant that could be obtained if more equally a greater number of people donated. With the recent medical advances in organ and tissue donation, you could help save the lives of 8 people and enhance the lives of 50 others through eye and tissue donation. Organ donations include heart, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, liver, and the intestines. Tissue donations include skin, bone, heart valves, and corneas. According to Donate Life Ohio, 3,000 Ohioans are waiting for a transplant, with 78% of those being kidney transplants and people who are at end-stage renal disease. 1 Ohioan dies every other day waiting. By joining the Ohio Donor Registry, you can make the choice to help. You can make the choice to be someone's hero. It is quite easy to specify preferences for organ donation. The first step is to become a donor, and there are 3 options. You can go to donatelifeohio.org and register online, or you can fill out and mail in the donor enrollment form, which I have provided for you today. Or by saying yes when you visit the BMV office to receive or renew your driver's license or your state ID card. However, make sure to discuss your wishes to donate life with your family, as this is always discussed with the next of kin upon death. If your family isn't aware of your wishes, many people's chances of survival could be lost. Excuse me. Feeling hesitant about being a donor is what prevents many of us from helping this cause. Your fears might include how your religion will view donation, the burden it might leave on your family financially, or something more extreme, the condition your body could be left in after donation. One of the greatest things about organ donation is most religions view donation as a personal decision and even encourage it. Some also see it as an act of charity by the church. In addition, donating organs is no charge whatsoever to your family, so there should never be any cost left. Lastly, the organ recovery process is a surgical procedure conducted by transplant surgeons who ensure the donor is treated with the utmost respect and dignity, and it is still possible to have an open casket funeral after donation. On the Donate Life Ohio website, you will find numerous stories of life being given to people who had previously lost hope due to a serious illness. And I would like to share a couple of those with you today. My first one is from a recipient His name is Anthony Hines. He's a heart recipient from Columbus, Ohio. His story goes like this. The doctors told me I had had a heart attack. At the time, I didn't realize it was the only first of many more to come. 1 year later, I had another heart attack. I had an enlarged heart and an arrhythmia, or an irregular heartbeat. I had an internal defibrillator installed to keep me alive if I had more heart attacks. My health declined, and in 2001, I quit my job of 20 years. It got to the point where the wind could take my breath away. I lived in an apartment with steps, and eventually I just couldn't go up them anymore. Over the next 8 years, my defibrillator went off 8 times. My heart was so weakened after the attacks that I was listed for a transplant on May 14th, 2010. The next day, my defibrillator went off 15 times. As the defibrillator went off, I made it to the bedroom and found my Bible. Having the device go off that many times was indescribable. All I could do was pray. Fortunately, I was able to make it to the hospital and I was stabilized. At that point, a transplant was my only hope for survival. On May 22nd, 2010, I received the call that a heart was available. They told me not to get too excited, but I did. The next day, I underwent the transplant and immediately felt 200% better. I couldn't believe how incredible I felt because of this heart, because of my donor. It's been almost 2 years and I'm so thankful for my transplant. I've written to my donor's family to say thank you. I said thank you for the generosity, for the chance to live my life, see my 4 grandsons grow up, and enjoy life's simple pleasures. I hope to meet them someday and thank them in person. The next inspirational story I'd like to share with you is from a donor's family. The donor was Don Blair. He is an organ and tissue donor. Don was a highly diverse and eclectic individual. He was as comfortable on the football field as he was creating works of art and poetry. He loved life, and life loved Don. He was born confident and strong-willed, with a high level of energy and determined to succeed. These attributes were to mark Don's life. Don was a goal setter who chose to pursue and live out his dream. Don graduated from college and moved to New York and accepted an internship paying $10 a day, convinced he would prove his worth to the company in a short period of time. From the humble beginning, in 3 short years, he became junior financial controller for the U.S. division of a $90 million Italian clothing firm. Don was constantly networking, developing relationships, and touching lives with his dedication, enthusiasm, and love of the chase. Even when discouraged, Don was not defeated. His contacts with us were full of his upbeat philosophy as well as his constructive criticism of himself. It was Don's hope and desire to impact the lives of others and to be a positive influence in the world. Little did we know how the hope was to be fulfilled. Don was planning on returning back to Dayton, Ohio, on May 27, 2005. Upon his arrival to the airport, Don found that his flight had been overbooked. While flying with his cousin, they decided not to be separated by each other and take the next flight, which was the following morning. We received a phone call later that night informing us Don had been struck by a van while riding his bicycle to the store. Brent, his cousin, later joined him at the hospital and called us to let us know the severity of his injuries. After speaking with Brent, we realized we were needed in New York with Don. During the 10-hour drive to the city, we received a call from the hospital stating that Don had suffered a non-survivable brain injury and likely suffered brain death. The New York Organ Donor Network was contacted, thus starting the wheels in motion to ensure that Don had the opportunity to impact lives of others. Don's ultimate death was defined by sharing his gift of life. The final chapter of Don's life is defined by saving the lives of 7 recipients with his organs. A single mother who works hard to provide for her family received his pancreas. 2 people received his kidneys and no longer require the frequent and lengthy dialysis treatments. Don's heart remained in the city he loved. A lawyer in New York is now practicing law with 1 big heart. And 5 received a portion of Don's liver. A 5-month-old baby received the other portion of his organ and now has a hope for the future. In conclusion, we would like to share a quote found on Don's laptop under Note to Self. Do not wait for things to happen. Make things happen to you. You are responsible for the majority of your overall happiness, your success, your accomplishments, your life. Take control while you have the time, the resources, and the energy. Practice on being the best possible person you can be. This is one chance to make it count. Someone shared with those donors the beauty of being a donor and brought hope back to the recipient's life. That's what I hope to do for you today, to give you the knowledge and desire to keep on giving even after you're gone. If we all work together to spread the importance of donating, we can easily make those numbers decrease instead of increase. If I can persuade just one of you today, that's 50 more people in the world that would pass along the gift. So please join me on the registry and become a lifesaver today. I'll leave you with this quote from John Adams, an American historian. He once said, "The greatest use of a life is to spend it for something that will outlast it." Thank you greatly for your undivided attention.